Alex, I'm going to pick on you. Alex, behave yourself. There you go. You've been warned. I pick on one victim each time. Here we go. Coming. Okay. Jordan, let's have the music.
All right. Have a great show.
Everybody wave hello to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Wave, wave, wave. Here we go.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you to Mr. Intro Voice, Bonnie D. in the house. Happy to be here. It is a wonderful day. It's a Wednesday in the middle of May. Where has the year gone? Oh my goodness, here we are. We're repeating a topic from a couple of weeks ago. I think it was in March because it's so popular and so many people want to know about it. And the topic is the future of coaching and AI. I am welcoming back 5 esteemed futurists in this field. They are all somehow related to the profession, the industry, the expertise, the professionalism of coaching one way or another. I welcome them back. And I've run my audience meter. It's called my audience-ometer. It's proprietary. Kirsten, you know about that, right? We worked on that. It's proprietary. She didn't know she did, but she did. And it told me that there are exactly 5.723 people in the world who don't remember any of you or all of you. So we're going to shrink the bio time on the show when you introduce yourself after my opening poem to about 2 sentences. Name, rank, serial number. What's your title? What company are you with? What company did you create or found? What's your role? And a 1-sentence overview on what AI means to you relevant to our topic of the future of coaching. So let me read my little opening poem here. In full disclosure, I worked on it with ChatGPT. Yes, I'm still using the free 3.5 version, but I love it anyway. So here we go. Welcome, dear audience, to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where we'll again explore coaching and AI, a futuristic wow, with Bonnie D. That's me, your host and guide, my Scarlett mic always by my side. Here we are. In the coaching realm, AI takes its cue, a sage companion guiding purpose anew, insights refined as data aligns and blends, envisioned by my futurist whose wisdom transcends. Did you all know your wisdom is transcending? Ingo, that's for you. Your wisdom is transcending right now. I can see it. Wage when I call your name. Jeremy Kestler, coaching sage, guides modern leaders on wisdom stage. From corporations to tech's embrace, he works to craft excellence with skill and grace. Jeremy, did you know you have grace as well as skill? There you have, you know it now. Emma Marriott, HR's beacon bright, founded IrisHR with people-centric insight. Small businesses now thrive in her care as she's building brands with AI's flair. Welcome back, Emma. Alex Haitoglou, Ovida's co-founder and CEO Guide, an AI platform for leadership stride, designed to advance communications core with mentorship for managers who are wanting more. I hope you like that, Alex. Okay. I rent out these poems. I'll negotiate with you. Okay. I got to make a little money here. Kirsten Boileau. I've known her for 100 years and she's only 30. A true learning superstar, taps expertise from her knowledge reservoir. That's so picturesque, Kirsten. From social selling to her new venture, Tairo's, Tairo Quest. She champions growth for leadership's best. There you go, Kirsten. And
love it.
Good. And Ingo Gulde, with his coaching finesse, navigates learning with skillful caress. He's passionate for technology and innovation spark on the generative AI journey he has embarked. Ingo, I hope you like that. Together, they join a panel profound in coaching and AI. Their wisdom is unbound. All right, you should all feel unbound now. Bonnie D, that's me, host with passion so true on Technology Revolution. Always a journey anew. What'd you think, kids? Pretty good?
Very good.
Excellent.
Thank you. I rent these out. So, I'll give you the price list afterwards. Mama's got to pay the bill somehow. So let's go around the table. Here's the speaker order as I did in the poem. First, we have Jeremy and then we have Emma. Mix this up a little from last time. Alex and Kirsten and Ingo. And I love you all, but somebody had to be first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and it doesn't really matter. So let's have that 1-line bio and a 1-sentence overview executive summary of your thoughts on coaching and AI. Jeremy, you're up. Go ahead.
Got it. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeremy Kestler. I am an executive coach and consultant. My company is Kestler Coaching and Learning. And one of the things that I think is really going to heavily impact coaching as a result of AI is that coaches are going to have to be more tech savvy, even more tech savvy than they've been in the past, in integrating technology into their coaching businesses and their coaching work.
Thank you. Very, very interesting. I like this overview. We might have to do this on all the shows. Emma Marriott, you're up next. Go ahead, Emma.
Hi, everyone. My name's Emma. I founded IrisHR in 2022, and we focus on offering small businesses kind of their HR foundations to help them grow. And so for AI, I come across a lot of small business owners that are kind of afraid of tech in general. So it's really kind of demystifying that and helping them learn at a pace that's comfortable for them to get what they need out of tech, and not kind of overwhelm and over-inform, but getting them to a place of comfort and what works for them.
Lovely. Thank you. And I still adore your background, Emma. That is just absolutely sweet. Thank you very much. Let's go to Alex. You're up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex Haitoglou. I'm the founder of Ovida. And we are actually working on using AI to help people and coaches become better at what they do. My prediction for AI is that it's going to be very, very important for coaches to actually become better at coaching, because AI can do parts of coaching significantly better if already than humans, and it's going to expand to more. But there are parts of coaching that are very uniquely human. And I think actually today, in total, coaches are not doing those necessarily. Not all coaches are doing those parts really well. So my prediction is we'll need arguably more coaches and actually better coaches overall as well.
Ooh, I like that one. Thank you. Very interesting. Kirsten, you're next. Refresh us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kirsten Boileau. I am the founder and CEO of Tairo Consulting, which has been in business since 2023. We do learning and development consulting for small businesses. And in my view, AI and coaches go together, and I think there's a great symbiotic relationship there. However, I do think that there are certain elements, as Alex reflected on, that really require that human touch. There's some ethics issues that may come into play. And so I think that there is definitely a need for coaches to embrace it with caution.
Ooh, okay. There's a little bit of our guardrail, right? That's what we talk about. And let's go to Ingo. Ingo, welcome back. Talk to me.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ingo Gulde, and I work for SAP. In my current role, I'm a learning and development consultant, and I teach our SAP employees about the use of AI. And of course, there are also some downsides of using it, and maybe we'll touch on those today as well. But for me, really, AI is the future. And what I really like about it is it opens up coaching to really everyone. So everyone can sign up for the ChatGPT, for example, and have it act as a coach and have some good first access to coaching that way.
Thank you very much, Ingo. Wonderful. See, we did abbreviated bios and overview statements. I like this. Kirsten inspired me to change the format a little bit. So I'm trying it out on all of you. Okay, and you're all very gracious about it. We're going to do the opening quotes now. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to read the quote from a fictional character in a movie or a TV show or a song lyric from some of you. Just a little bit of background. When you're explaining your quote specifically related to one thing you predict about AI and coaching, if you can. I'm not asking you to go into all your predictions, we'll do later, but let's see if we can focus on something future focused for these. So Jeremy has a quote from, oh my goodness, Yi Wenji, played by Rosalind Chow. Netflix sci-fi TV series 3, the number 3, Body Problem, which debuted this year on March 21st, 2024. It's based on the Hugo Award-winning Chinese novel, The Three-Body Problem. An astrophysicist sees her father beaten during a struggle session in the Chinese Cultural Revolution. I'm going to stop there and let you read. Here's the quote, Jeremy. Come, we cannot save ourselves. I will help you conquer this world. Jeremy, what does this have to do with what you see for coaching and AI? Go ahead.
Sure. Well, this is a great new science fiction series. And like all good science fiction, it's very thought-provoking and it poses all kinds of interesting questions for humanity. So in this scene, this scientist who, through her experiences, has lost her faith in humanity, through her own life, is given a choice. The aliens respond to her and they say, if you invite us, we will come and we will conquer your world. And she, in this quote, is essentially saying, bring it on, come get us. So it's a very kind of hopeless, moment, and it's an abdication, if you can think about it, as her role as a person, in that she's inviting the destruction of the world. So I think, to me, it really poses interesting questions about humanity. There's all kinds of examples when people question, their humanity, and they question whether or not, how deeply flawed we are, and whether or not we'll be capable of surmounting those flaws, I guess. So I think it's a really interesting question in terms of the AI question, which is, what piece of that is humanity going to take on, and what piece of it is it okay, to leave up to these machines, and how will that be sorted out?
Very well put. Thank you very much. I have a question for all of you. When I watch TV, I watch a lot of French detective shows because I like to improve my French by listening and reading the subtitles and all that, and saying, yes, I knew it. I had to say that when they're saying something. Question is, I'm always looking for anything I watch on TV. I'm always looking for that quick quote, something I could use on a radio show, or I could put in my list of suggestions for my guests. And I will stop it if it's on demand. I will take a snapshot, a picture with my iPhone of that quote on the screen, and then put it into a folder. Are you all looking for quotes from time to time? Do you say, for example, Jeremy, when you're watching this TV show on Netflix, did you say, that would make a great show, quote for Bonnie show? Did you have that moment?
I think it was more of a two-step process. So my first one is, what have I watched recently that, because I'm a big science fiction fan, so I figure from one of my shows, there's got to be something interesting that somebody was saying that's relevant. So I first think of the particular show, and then I look it up online, and it reminds me, because if you've watched the entire show, which of course now you can very easily, you can pick that out and say, oh, that's a good one. That really
Thank you.
shows that particular point well.
Thank you very much. I was just curious. The human side, right? We're talking about us as humans. Emma Marriott has picked a quote from a Taylor Swift song. Woohoo! You may be the first or second ever in my shows to quote Taylor. This is from the song This Is Me Trying, a song performed and co-written by Taylor Swift in 2020 from her Folklore album. Very interesting. She was apparently struggling with existentialism and alcoholism at the time, and she thought life was very, very bleak. Her imagination was running wild while she was isolating during COVID-19, and she just wanted to write some songs about that. She was at her lowest point and felt like she was worth absolutely nothing. Well, we look at the numbers, she's worth a lot more than absolutely nothing. But I'm sorry, that was crass. Here is the line that Emma has picked. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. At least I'm trying. Oh, I got chills, Emma. Talk to us. What does this have to do with coaching and AI?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, for one, in terms of picking this, my house is always a Taylor Swift party. So I had to find something within that. And I thought this was fitting, and it's actually a great segue from Jeremy's point, but it's like that humanity aspect behind all of us. That really is that we're flawed, and that we are unhealed, and that life is a process, and we're never going to be perfect. And we're always just going to be trying maybe at something, to improve something, to get better at something, to learn something. Like, those are all different versions. And so for me, it was, how do we tie it into opening up this AI space and having, more and more people? It's super easy to access. A lot of the times it's free. So what does that look like, and how can we help one another, but also help ourselves maybe a little bit more than, more expensive resources, I would say.
Thank you. Very interesting. This is me trying. Interesting. Trying to to harness and use technology and trying to stay human at the same time. It's really
Right.
a two-edged, isn't it? It's a two-edged sword, is trying to use it in a way that keeps us being people, or trying to
Yeah.
use it in a way that makes us smarter, better, faster, more efficient, more human people because we have more time to be humans because AI is helping us with the little stuff. All kinds of ways to read that. Thank you, Emma. I do not have a Taylor Swift household because I live alone, and my grandchildren, they actually go to her concert, so I'll have to check with them and see if they like this one. Let's go on. Alex has picked a quote from Tyrion Lannister, played by the wonderful Peter Dinklage. He is just an incredible actor. Game of Thrones, of course, season 5, episode 9, The Dance of Dragons, originally aired way back in the dark ages of June 7th, 2015. Does anybody remember what was going on in 2015? Dance of Dragons is the 9th and penultimate episode of the 5th season of the medieval fantasy TV series Game of Thrones, and the 49th episode overall. Here's the quote Alex has picked. It's easy to confuse what is with what ought to be, especially when what is has worked out in your favor. Interesting. Go ahead, Alex.
I mean, what I love about this quote, and there's a few more. There's one actually that is not a fictional quote that I really love as well. That is along those lines by Viktor Frankl. That is effectively, the fact that we are settling as humans into what we think works, and what we think works becomes a reality, and it becomes harder and harder to question: is what we're doing really the winning recipe? And that stagnation, which, by the way, if there's anywhere a space to see that, you can see that in business, right? I mean, currently what's happening, OpenAI is leading the way in AI revolution based on technology that was created by Google in 2017, right? So Google had it and sat of it because they confused what is with what ought to be. And I think that is something that's really applicable to coaching. And if anything, we always, as coaches, want people to grow and adapt and be ready to adapt and be ready to actually explore things. And I think this is the perfect time to do that. This is a time where we need to really stop thinking about what has actually worked, realize what's happening around us, and be ready to experiment to find out what's ought to be, rather than relying on our laurels, past laurels. Oh, it's worked in the past and therefore it's going to work right now. I think many businesses and coaches specifically will be caught by surprise if they stay in the space. So this is an invitation to explore what maybe not ought to be, but what could be. I think I like this one more.
That was an interesting comment, Alex. Who will stay in the space? Everybody's saying, that's an interesting one. Will we see the ranks swelling with new people entering because of AI? Will AI weed out the people who shouldn't have been there in the first place or no longer want to be? How will it change the population of that pool? Very interesting comment. Kirsten, you're next. Thank you, Alex. Kirsten is next. She has picked a quote from Captain Jean-Luc Picard, played by we have such iconic characters in this, played by Patrick Stewart. Star Trek: The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 21. Kirsten had to find that episode for me. I looked everywhere and couldn't find it. The episode is called Peak Performance. Original air date. Oh, were you even born then, Kirsten? July 10th, 1989. I don't even think you were around.
Yes.
Don't even. With the Borg, with the Borg threat in mind, Starfleet stages a war game simulation pitting Captain Picard and the Enterprise against Commander Riker and the 80-year-old starship Hathaway. However, I'll leave it there. Here's the quote. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. This is not a weakness. This is life. Kirsten, I want to crochet that on the side of a pillow, but it's too long. Go ahead, explain that for us, please.
For sure. And by the way, I was 16. So I think 15 or 16. Anyway, yes, I found it really fascinating that, it kind of fits in with what Alex was saying, what Emma was saying around authenticity. And even though we do everything right, we still may not, the cards may not be in our favor, right? And so I think that there's a lot to be said for as a human coach being trying to do everything right and then still not making that connection with the coachee, but also from an AI perspective, it supposedly is doing everything right. right? There's no human emotion involved. There's no, apparently no right from wrong, but yet there's still a lot of error that happens. And so I think that there's a lot to be said for bringing those two pieces together, that, trying to do everything right. And I think that it means that there's a lot of intention that needs to be drawn from the way that we coach. And also including that in, from an AI perspective, using AI to automate some of your activities as a coach. There's a lot of good intention there. It may not always work out, it may not always be right, but the intention to be better, to be faster, to be more efficient was there.
Intention, very interesting word there, Kirsten. Good intention, isn't it all? But just for a sidebar here quickly, Ingo, I'll get to you in 1 second. I recently did a show on the future of AI, art, and human art and AI. And I've done shows on the future of the law profession, lawyers, law, and AI. And we all, especially with professions like law, we don't want AI to hallucinate on a case study that somebody's going to present in court. Oh my God, that's not real. Well, it sounded good. Okay. But we've been asking AI to hallucinate on some of my shows, which is interesting. We said, AI, create art. AI, take a couple prompts and think of something. I did a research show. I don't think any of you were on it, where we had conversations with people in the arts, anything related to art, not just painting and photography, who were no longer alive. What would they say about AI? And we asked AI to hallucinate and tell us what those conversations would be. And then we asked AI, what would famous fictional sidekicks say if they were real people and they were in the world of AI. So we've been asking it to hallucinate and giving it permission and having fun with it. I just wanted to add that sidebar. Thank you very much. Ingo, I'm looking at your quote. This is a classic. Oh my goodness. Yoda, voiced by the wonderful Frank Oz. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, 1980. We're still going back in time. Back. Epic space opera film. And to this day, Ingo, I still don't know what a space opera is. I haven't figured that out. Okay. And let's see, directed by Irving Kershner, blah, 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 blah. The sequel to Star Wars 1977, the second film in the Star Wars series, fifth chronological chapter of the Skywalker saga. Here we go. Wonderful quote. This one I can crochet on a pillow. Do or do not. There is no try. Ingo, what does this have to do with our topic? Go.
Okay, Bonnie, I need to correct you this time.
What'd I do?
I had a different quote in mind, and it's from the wonderful movie The Matrix. And
Did I not put that in the notes? Well, go ahead, give me your quote. I apologize. I thought maybe this was from the last one. Go ahead.
The Matrix is everywhere. It's all around us, even now in this very room. And then Morpheus goes on. But I chose this one for part 2 of our discussion, because that's something I thought about last year when I started talking about AI to our SAP employees, and thinking about the future, and I was on a plane ride and I saw Matrix and I watched the movie again, and I was just thinking, we're pretty close to be able to actually do this with all the technologies that we have. And at some point it will become more and more difficult to differentiate what is reality and what is not, what is true and what is not. So this could be good or bad, right? So in terms of coaching, it could be great because we could have a great coaching session with a coach, and maybe it's just a virtual AI coach, and we don't even know that is true. So I was thinking a lot about that and kind of the implications, maybe 10 years, 20 years down the road, what the impact might be on coaching, but also generally to the world.
Ingo, I owe you a huge apology. I found it, and here was the issue. I'll tell you what happened. You were the first one to respond with new predictions and a new quote for part 2. You were so far ahead of everybody else that it got buried in my inbox. And I said, where's your stuff? And you said, I already sent it. I just went through 12 emails and I found it. I apologize humbly and deeply to you, sir. That was a beautiful quote from The Matrix. I found it. The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in this very room. So thank you very much, Ingo. I owe you. I'll find something. I'll find some way to make it up to you. Thank you all for the quotes. I appreciate that. Let's go on to our predictions round now. And we've been doing a lot of predicting along the way. So let's see where we are. I'll pick one from each of you and put it in the chat. Jeremy Kestler, let's go with your prediction number 2. You say AI will boost professional skills coaching. Analytic AI tools will make training on professional skills topics, including coaching skills, more accessible and more effective. Let's do a brief overview of this, Jeremy. Go ahead. What do you predict?
Sure. Well, in any corporation, when you need to train your employees, you think about their functional skills to do, in their specific technical area, let's say, and you also think about their, quote unquote, soft skills, or what I'm calling professional skills here. And typically, if you were going to try to improve something like public speaking or, assertiveness or, communication skills, that would always have to be like a tutor or a coach or a training person, to give you that feedback. But now there are these analytic AI tools that can listen to you and give you that feedback. So I found out about one, it's called Speaker Coach, and it's within Microsoft Teams. So it listens to you when you're on Microsoft Teams, and it gives you live feedback that tells you your rate of speech, are you varying your vocal pitch? Are you using a monotone? And it's able to, just turn on a software program and give you that level of feedback that can help you improve. So the analogy I think of is like when you first were able to use videotape, to improve your public speaking, or, capturing yourself on video. You can learn just from watching yourself on video, right? And you don't even have to have someone who's pointing those things out for you in a live setting. So these tools are really powerful, and that means that you don't need a person to develop those more human kinds of skills. You can actually get it from software. And one example of that is, obviously like a coaching enhancement tool like Alex's, which is called Ovida, that listens to you coach and it gives you feedback about your coaching. You're talking too much, your client isn't talking enough. It can do that all by itself without me having to be on with a mentor coach who's telling me that. So the transcript tools are also amazing as well, because now I can, just like the videotape, capture what I'm doing and learn from it without necessarily having to have a human as the audience.
Thank you very much. We have somebody in the gallery who wants to comment. Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what's really important here is there are two aspects of this process, right? The first aspect is the aspect of identifying things. And I fully agree with you, Jeremy. This part where AI can do amazing stuff. That's what we're also doing on Ovida. And, the opportunities there are to do things and to notice things that no one ever could before, right? That's absolutely amazing. However, I do think that if we're really talking about people changing behaviors and changing behaviors that are embedded long-term behaviors that we learn as children and the rest, I think it's going to be still very important to have a human in the loop. And we have a perfect example of proof of that, if you want, which is in the world of sport. Currently, you can get incredible apps that gives you data about everything. Have we stopped using human coaches in sports? No, exactly the opposite. There's more human coaches and personal trainers and everything else you can imagine over the last 5-10 years where this amazing technology revolution has happened than there were before. So I actually think in this case, absolutely right, we're going to be able to pick up a ton of things that we couldn't do before. But I think the value of the relationship with someone to take you through and help you change behavior is something that's pretty much DNA ingrained. I don't think it's going to be replaced anytime soon. At some point, it might. But at this moment, I'm pretty sure that just getting speaker data from Microsoft will not dramatically change. You can fix some things, but will not dramatically change your behaviors. I think for that, you still need that data and the relationship with a human to come together and help you change that.
Jeremy, you want to have a rebuttal or an agreement there quickly?
No,
What do you think?
great. Actually, I love the sports metaphor too. It made me think of two things, actually. Like if you watch a professional soccer football game, you see they have these chips that they wear kind of between their shoulder blades. It's like something under their uniform, and it tracks how many steps they're doing and all their movements, and it gives just a huge download of data that they can use to improve their performance. Even at the youth level of soccer, a lot of the soccer teams, at the youth level have these things. You set up a tripod, you send the camera 20 feet in the air, it automatically records the entire game. All you have to do is put it at the 50-yard line. So again, that can, have a tremendous learning value as well. So anyway, so I think those are great points. And I do agree, you got to have a person in the mix.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. And thank you, Jeremy. Good conversation starter. Let's go to Emma. Emma has expanded a prediction we didn't use on part one. I'm just going to read the first part. It's long and it's wonderful. So she says, in the evolving landscape of coaching and AI, I anticipate, this is Emma speaking, a collaborative paradigm shift involving coaches, therapists, psychiatrists, and counselors aimed at fostering a more comprehensive and holistic approach to personal growth. I'm going to stop there. Emma, 3 minutes. Talk to us.
Sure. I think really this was personal for me in the sense of, sometimes as a person, we're limited to so much time and resources in a day. And sometimes navigating these things, such as finding a coach or a therapist or whatever that kind of support it is you feel like you need in that moment. And sometimes they kind of come and they go and they stop. Or there's like a huge pause in your life where you can't make it, and then it maybe picks back up 6 months to a year later, things like that. So I'm thinking too, from a patient's point of view, where it would be connecting the dots with all of these providers and helping just continue that conversation. And kind of picking up, it's like an old friend, picking up where you left off and continuing those experiences, but also recognizing that each of these service providers would have a different lens on a patient and can bring that to the table and kind of make better informed decisions with that AI piece for a client, right? And I love Alex's point about, we're not removing a person from the equation. We're just kind of solidifying and making that decision a little bit more robust for the patient that then at the end of the day is still going to need that support and kind of like accountability partner to make any of those changes in their behavior. And of course, and at the end of the day, it's up to the individual. They need to show up ready and willing to learn and grow themselves as well.
Emma and everybody, is there still a blurring of a line between the different types of coaching, psychiatry, counseling, teacher, mentor? Alex is smiling. Yes. I'm not sure that I even understand that. I recently wanted to find a therapist. Now, I'm used to a PhD or an LCSW, MS, and all I found was people who were licensed counselors. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what their training is. I don't know whether I came down a step. I was paying a lot more. But if you, not to get too personal, but if you go to Psychology Today, there are a list of thousands of them. Thousands and thousands, and most of them say they're counselors, but they could be coaches. And I don't know that I know the difference. And it ended up looking like a dating site because people were in a barn with their horse and they were holding their kittens and they were in their kitchen cooking and there were personality pictures. And I said, why would I pick somebody if they're in a barn feeding their horse? What's that got to do with? So is there a way to tell? I think this has been a blurred line or a big question mark among humans for years when coaching entered the scene. Hire a life coach, hire a writing coach, hire a cooking coach, hire a dressing coach. Hire a business coach, hire any kind of a presentation coach, hire a book writing coach. Who are these people? I'm not challenging any of you about who you are, what you all do, because you're professionals and that's why you're here. But I think there is a vast confusion. And then we bring AI in the mix and we say, maybe what we really want is an AI version of the ideal person we want for our coach. Does anybody have a comment? I know this is not off the track. Alex, I knew you were. Go ahead, Alex.
All right. So this is I'll try to give you one helpful definition, which we've used when I was at Procter & Gamble many years ago to explain that, which is if 0 is a person that's really non-functional at all, and it's probably they're a danger to themselves than others, and 10 is a person that they would say, I'm doing well, people around them, they're saying they're doing well, and they're feeling great. Psychiatry probably is 0 to 2, 3, right? Yep. Psychology is probably around 1, 2 to 4, 5, 6. Counseling probably starts around 4, 5, up to 8, 9. And the idea is that coaching is about from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? It's about really going beyond that. So that was a definition that we used that we found useful. But the reality is that there is a lot of overlap naturally, and AI is going to make this overlap even more common, because it is very hard to say what works and what doesn't across these things. And frankly, all the studies done across the different fields, I'll take psychiatry out when someone needs medication because of their body needing chemistry, right? That's a different thing. But for the rest, the number one most important thing that makes something work after the person wanting to change, which is number one, is the relationship with the person that they are doing this with. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter the technique. It doesn't matter whether they're a therapist. It doesn't matter whether they're a coach. So as long as the person wants to change, if they don't, it's a different discussion, right? But as long as the person wants to change, the relationships matters more than the technique, than the skill or the school of thought, or whatever else. And that is very universally accepted.
Thank you very much. I'm going back to Emma, the quote you picked from Taylor Swift. Trying to be myself. She was going through alcoholism, existentialism. She felt her life had no worth. Seriously, one of the most successful people in the history of music, one of the most brilliantly productive women in any kind of field today in the world. And even she felt that. Interesting. Anybody have any comments on what Alex said or what my question is before we move on? I don't want to drag it down, but okay, I think we're all good. Alex, thank you. Appreciate. So what you're saying is it's a willingness to change, but it's also how you see yourself on that scale. How much trouble am I in? Am I in any trouble? How much do I want to change? What are my goals? Interesting. Okay, that might be another show. Alex, you are up next with a prediction. Interesting.
Yes.
You say the democratization of coaching through AI will significantly increase its accessibility and awareness, including coaching to a broader audience, which in turn is highly likely to increase the demand for human coaches as part of a more holistic coaching approach. I'm going to stop there. Alex, 2 minutes, go.
I think the beauty of what's going on right now is many people will understand how powerful it is to be able to communicate, even if it is with an AI. And through that communication, answer questions, ask questions yourself, and then attempt to answer them. Effectively, what you're doing at a biological level is creating new mental models, creating new mental maps. So I think the fact that this is now going to be more and more in already is more and more available with a very decent level, actually, AI coaches that can communicate with you, as we've seen also already this Monday and already for a few months, very fast and very well, and pretty much interact at a good level with humans. That I think is a fantastic thing because it will get people to communicate more and talk more and get those skill sets. At the same time, I think what this will put forward is that there are some aspects of the coaching discussions that are very, very unlikely to be replaced by this. And that behavioral aspect of building a relationship and going through a journey together and having someone that we're accountable for, that's a very different thing, doing this with a human versus a non-human. There's plenty of examples. Again, I'm going to use examples of things that have already happened, but there's a reason that today millions of people, more than ever in human history, are playing chess online with other humans, when you can play chess with the best AIs in the world and are significantly better than anyone, right? That hasn't killed the need for anyone to play chess. If anything, has made chess more popular. However, the people that are playing chess today, and the people professionally at least, and their coaches, we have more chess coaches today than ever, by the way, they're using technology differently. The way they work is different. And I think if we're sitting around thinking that the way coaching works today is going to be the same in the next 3, 5, 10 years, I think we're kidding ourselves. I think the reality is, in those two industries that I mentioned before, sports and personal training in general and chess, the reality is people either adapted, using technology as part of it. Because of that, we actually had more need for humans to do the work, right? But the skill set of these humans are much more up to date. They love technology. They integrate technology in everything that they do. And that has generated completely new ways of interacting and completely new business models. And I think that, for me, is the key to this. Like, we already have examples of how this is going to play out. It's very likely to go like that. How ready are we to jump and adapt technology and go through this hard, sometimes adoption curve, in order to be part of the solution going forward?
Thank you. Very well put. Any comments around the table? Everybody's taking that in. Kirsten, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think I 100% agree with what Alex was saying, and I wanted to add in that I think that there's those humans that are in the sports analogy, that are coming in, and why there's more is because they're far more specialized, right? They have very, very specific knowledge to help those athletes with very specific areas of their performance, which the AI has given them data about, and so then they're able to work with that very, very specialized coach to help them improve that one specific area. And I mean, they'll have multiple of them, of course, but they're become much more specialized, I think, and that's the opportunity, I believe, for humans when in collaborating with AI, is to become very, very specialized in and have that much higher interest and output from that very specialized knowledge.
Thank you, Kirsten. And that also opens up the idea of workforce opportunities, of people going out on their own, forming their own practices, their own professional offering using AI and learning, as Kirsten said, picking a niche, picking your specialty. What do you want? How good are you? How could you be a coach? How will AI help you be that person and organize your business? Interesting. We haven't even talked about that in terms of labor and in terms of being able to earn a living. Let's move on. Kirsten, I'm looking at your prediction number 3. I really like this different aspect to what we've been talking about. Kirsten says AI-driven coaching platforms can make coaching more accessible and affordable by leveraging technology to reach a broader audience, including remote or underserved populations. Virtual coaching, mobile apps, online platforms powered by AI can provide on-demand support and resources to people seeking personal or professional development. Talk to us about that underserved, that idea of how mobile. Is this a hybrid of a human powered by AI, or is this just AI? Kirsten, how do you envision this?
Well, I do believe that there needs to be a human oversight and human supervision of the applications and the AI, but I also think that it allows a single coach to scale, right? To scale in a broader sense. If you're looking for those very specialized, as we just talked about, looking for those very specialized niches, then there is opportunity to bring in more coaches. But if you think about the underserved or under-resourced in our communities, and maybe they're not in our communities, maybe they're, I live in Canada, and Canada has, the lower southern portion of Canada is quite populated. The north is not, but there are still people up there that could really use a lot of coaching and that professional development opportunities that aren't necessarily available to them because the population just doesn't support it. And so utilizing things like Alex's software is something that perhaps could really support those underserved populations and under-resourced populations to be able to access something that they've never been able to access before.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. I was going to make a joke and say, you mean they need coaches in Canada, but I don't want to say anything. So.
There's actually a lot of coaches in Kitchener-Waterloo, but not maybe, a couple hours north of me. So.
Interesting. I remember years ago, a friend told me that his daughter was setting herself up as a coach with no certification, no training. She just felt she could help people with their life goals. And she set up a phone line and she was charging by credit card, something like, $75 an hour, whatever it was. And she had a booming business, no certification, no training, just this is me. I'm smart. I'm caring. I have compassion. This is before AI. Or before we were using AI, and she had a very successful business. That always made me wonder, and I'm going to stop right there. Let's go to Ingo. I'm combining 2 of your predictions, Ingo. I just put the second one in the chat for you, and then we're going to do a second round because we do have time. Ingo says, we will be able to configure our ideal AI coaches with an AI coach builder, and then he says we won't be able to tell the difference between AI and human coaches. I think those 2 go together very well. Ingo, talk to us.
Thank you. Yes. So kind of relates to what you said, you were trying to find a therapist or someone, and it was really difficult to do that. What if you could just build your ideal therapist, that is schooled in what you believe in either psychotherapy or cognitive behavioral therapy or whatever it might be. Maybe you like a certain style of a therapist too. Maybe it's somebody who's more casual, maybe someone more formal, maybe someone who is very poetic, maybe someone who speaks French, right? And understands your background in whatever is important to you. And you could all have that, and that would be kind of difficult to find in in a human form. So eventually, you could build on a platform very easily, and you could do this today, but it takes a little bit of creativity, and you kind of have to know how to do it. But this would already be possible. But what I wanted also to talk about is, yes, coaching is also accessible to anyone with an internet connection and who can sign up for ChatGPT. It's free, right? You just have to have an account. Bam, you should be able to access it. But I think the problem is that many people don't know how to use AI. I teach AI at SAP, and I find this is new to a lot of people, and they could do a role play with a coach. I mean that's one of the prompting techniques that I teach that's possible. And on top of that, people may not be aware of coaching as a profession. So I think there's still this awareness barrier both on coaching and how to use AI. And so with a coach builder or a configurator, we will probably just reach the people that know now about coaching and maybe want to have access more often to it and instantaneously. But still, we have the problem of creating awareness of what is actually coaching, how is it different from all these other forms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still going to be not solved with AI.
Thank you, Ingo. Reminds me of the movie Her. Everybody remember? The star fell in love with the voice of his operating system, voiced by the beautiful Scarlett Johansson, who we never saw in the movie. Then the question is, can you fall in love with or have transference with your AI coach? That opens up a whole, right, Emma? A whole can of worms. How, if you had an AI coach and you built it, Ingo and everybody, and you could see that coach as often as you wanted to, how would that go? If there was no fee, if you could say, oh, it's Friday night and I'm all alone and I'm wondering, well, I'm watching this really crazy movie and I think it says something about me. I think I'll check with my AI coach. And you have an hour-long session and you say, hey, you want to come over for popcorn? Oh, I forgot that you're AI. Okay. Interesting. There are little tentacles of what we're talking about that go into so many directions. Jeremy, we have time. And thank you, Ingo. Jeremy, we have time for this one. Let's see where we go. You say, as more services, not just content, become available on demand and delivered in automated ways, live interactions with a coach will remain a premium service. Coaching guru Marshall Goldsmith recently debuted his Marshall bot with 2 L's in there, accessible at marshallgoldsmith.ai, which was developed in partnership with a tech firm called Fractal. Other coaches may soon be available to put the same tech to use to provide value for clients when they are not available. So how will this be premium? How will we pay for that? Jeremy?
Well, I encourage anybody who's interested in this topic to check out what Marshall has created because it's really cool. You can go to marshallgoldsmith.ai and ask any question and get a very Marshall-esque answer instantaneously, basically. Now, he was in a unique situation because his knowledge is so widely published, right? He has, decades of articles and books and is able to kind of feed and populate a database of for this AI tool. So there's also a fascinating video I encourage everybody to check out. It's called Humans Adapting in the Age of AI. It's an interview with Marshall and somebody from Citigroup, I think. And basically what he's saying in there is if you're a coach who does, gives a lot of advice or a lot of your business is based on you providing knowledge that you have, you're in trouble because the AI does it better. And he's essentially saying this bot answers questions faster and better than he could. Think of the recall, think of the breadth of what it can search, think of the, how quickly it can compose the right response. It's just something that even he who populated it can't compete with. So I've even seen other coaches, by the way, who are not big name coaches like him, attempt to do this, where they create their own coaching bot and they try and sell it like a subscription. You know, $35 a month is what this coach was charging for an on-demand coach, which they had built an AI tool. So very interesting. And obviously it can be a support for coaching, or it could be like kind of the thing that Ingo was designing, where it's an actual AI coach. It's coaching you, right? So is it a source of knowledge, or is it trying to coach you? Is it giving you answers, or is it trying to coach you? So I still feel that the coaching is going to be a unique experience. The human connection that many of us have talked about is something that is valued. And, you know, I used to have a debate with a friend of mine. We used to, when I worked at Coca-Cola, he said, you know, why don't they just put lemon in Diet Coke, like Diet Coke with lemon, right? Combine it. He said, oh, it's about going to the restaurant. You get a glass with ice. You put the lemon around the rim. You know, and it's, you just drop it in. You know, it's part of that experience. It's a little bit more of an emotional thing. And so hopefully, you know, coaching will still have that kind of premium.
Thank you very much. I've got a fly here who has been in my house for 3 days, and he just sat on my microphone. If you see me waving, I'm not waving directions here. First time I've had a guest with a couple of legs. We have 4 minutes left. Emma, I want to just tackle one brief part of one of your predictions here, just real fast. Emma says, by integrating machine learning algorithms that analyze data from client interactions, biometric sensors, and external factors, practitioners will be able to identify nuanced patterns and trends, fostering more holistic and effective support for clients on their journey toward growth and well-being. Emma, we've got 1 minute. Go talk.
All right, really quick. I also wanted to tie this back to Ingo's comment about if you were to create your own therapist, because then it becomes biased towards ourselves, right? And so the contrast there for me is so interesting, because it's like, oh, then maybe I've just created this therapist or this coach that tells me everything I want to hear. Whereas maybe that human connection is, in my view, supposed to be this safe place for a therapist or a coach to actually tell you what you need to hear, even though it's hard. And it hurts and it takes some time to process. But then when we come away from that, we are a little bit stronger and we've grown a little bit more.
Thank you. The interesting part about a human coach is that you have those pauses, those thoughtful pauses. You have eye contact. You have the sense that there is empathy or not in the room. Are they interested in you? Are they looking at you? Are they scratching their head? Are they checking their date book on their phone? Are they paying attention? And if you ponder, can they see the tears are in your eyes? And this could be for therapy. This could be for coaching. You know, you want to build a business. What does your coach say? I don't know. Maybe I'm on the wrong track. Those nuances of responses with a human would not happen, because you'd click a button, right, and go, and you'd say, okay, coach, tell me what to do now. I decided I don't want to be a sports coach. I want to be an automotive coach. I want to talk to the McLaren people, something like that. I'm making this up. So anyway, I want to thank you all. We've got about a minute left. I appreciate very much the insights. We took this way farther afield than we did on part one. We went into what I call the tentacles of the topic in terms of the meaning of coaching. Who are we? What do we need? How much do we willing to pay for? Can we create? Emma, that was a wonderful statement you just made. The coach will be a reflection of who we are, what we think we want when we create that coach. It will reflect us, our needs, rather than maybe what we need to hear. So much for that. So I want to thank the 5 of you, Jeremy and Emma and Alex and Kirsten and Ingo. I want to thank my engineer, Jordan at Voice America. I want you all to raise your finger. We've got a minute left. On the count of 3, you're going to join me with a very loud, resounding human no, no, no. People say the future is already here, and our answer is 1, 2, 3. No, no. That was one. Jordan, will you write that down? That was one of the best no-no-nos. We take a poll on my Monday night show where they have to say something else different. Interesting. I want to thank you all. If you're interested in a part 3 to take this in another direction, let me know. I'm booking for September and October. Can you believe that? Bonnie D, thanking all of you for watching and listening. It's always interesting. I learned so much from my panels, and I want to thank you all for your brilliance and for sharing your time with us. Everybody wave goodbye. Jordan, are we out?
All clear.